I'm going to do this by saying what he communicated as the problem statement, what he communicated as the root cause, what he said the administration's action was, and what the results of those actions were. I will do that first, and then I will give you what my commentary is on that. Is that fair enough in terms of just kind of playing straight?
Yes.
Okay. So with regards to national security, the problem statement is that our adversaries during the previous administration expanded their area of influence. This happened in Europe, the Middle East, and Asia. In Europe, he talked about the invasion of the Ukraine, Crimea, by the Russians. In the Middle East, he talked about the expansion of ISIS and the territory that they were acquiring in both Iraq as well as Syria. In Asia, he talked about China expanding its influence by building man-made islands and then claiming them as sovereign territory. And he talked about the cyber rattling that was coming out of North Korea with all those missile shots. In his commentary, he said the root cause of that was a lack of leadership, specifically in the Department of Defense in the prior administration, and also a lack of financial resources, so the amount of money that was actually being given to the military. As a result of those actions, he stated that our position in the world was weaker and that the readiness of our armed forces were less. His words, not mine. And so he says the reason why we're better off now is because we now have Secretary Mathis, who was previously a general in the United States Marine Corps, as the perfect, exact type of leader that we need to lead the Department of Defense. And in addition to that, that they passed, as a bipartisan effort, the National Defense Authorization Act, which provided a 10% increase in funding over previous laws. The advantages of doing that were that you were able to pay service members more, and that you were also able to invest in planes that couldn't fly, ships that couldn't sail, etc., etc. Is that fair enough in terms of just kind of playing it straight? Okay. So what do I think? I'm a different kind of candidate, and so I don't necessarily disagree with everything he said just because he has an R next to his name. I don't disagree with everything that President Trump has done just because he has a particular style of operating that may be different than those of us in this room would expect from our president, right? But we'll go through the specifics. The problem statement, I actually agree with, that our adversaries had actually expanded their footprint during the previous administration. I do not agree with the root cause analysis that was levied on the previous administration. So let's just think about this for a second. We were fighting in Iraq and we were fighting in Afghanistan. Were we really prepared, in collaboration with our NATO allies, to start another shooting war with the Russians over Crimea? Is that a decision that we think we would have wanted in order to start fighting war in a third location? I would contend that that was not something that we were going to do. When he talked about leadership, General Mathis, who is the current Secretary of the Department of Defense, is exceptional.